¿Cómo están, amigos? Estamos en la ciudad de Nueva York, enfrente del gimnasio de la UFC, en donde en unos momentos dará inicio la conferencia de prensa entre Weidman y Silva 2. Vamos a ver lo que nos dijeron en esta conferência de prensa.
Eles entendem exatamente o que acontece, né? Porque eles estão crescendo, vendo o pai deles lutando. Eles são críticos e me apoiaram em todos os sentidos.
Yeah, you know, his kids have been around this for a long time. They've been watching their dad fight for a long time. So they're used to this. They know how to deal with it. I mean, he said that, you know, his kids are his biggest critics, but they support me and they're happy.
In the past, actually before the fight was put about taking care of your family, that was important. And the title's the title. But now you've had a chance to reflect. How important is the title to you now in getting it back and also having that as you complete your contract?
Ele falou que já falou com você que a tua família é tudo, ele entende isso, mas que isso é a coisa mais preciosa na tua vida. Mas agora que você não está com o cinturão, você vê um valor, entendo isso, a importância disso na tua carreira?
O mais importante para mim é poder fazer bem o meu trabalho, independente de estar com o cinturão ou não. O cinturão é só um símbolo, né? É claro que todos os atletas que entram no UFC sonham com isso, de terem um cinturão. Mas eu já passei dessa fase, eu já tive tantos cinturões na minha vida que eu já passei dessa fase. Eu só quero poder ter mais uma chance de lutar com o Chris e mostrar o quanto eu posso mudar essa história.
Yeah, he said that, you know, the most important thing to me, granted that the belt is very important, it's a symbol of your accomplishments, and every fighter that comes into the UFC, that's their dream. But Anderson, what's important is him going out there and doing what he loves to do, putting on a good performance. So yes, he understands it, but the biggest thing is to go out there and put on a good performance and do what he loves. And of course, he's going to go out there and have a rematch with Chris Weidman, and he's looking forward to it and to getting the belt back.
Silva, as you talking about,
eu não falei isso.
As you saying about good performance, did you watch
É só um sonho ao qual eu quero realizar, lutar com o Roy Jones, mas não tenho intenção de lutar o boxe, porque de continuar lutando boxe se eu vencer ou perder, independente. É só um sonho ao qual eu gostaria de realizar. Eu tenho muitos sonhos que eu estou lutando com o Roy Jones e eu gostaria de realizar isso. É um desejo pessoal meu.
Yeah, I have no plans on wanting to be and stay as a boxer. It's just a personal dream of mine to box against Roy Jones. So whether I win or whether I lose, boxing is not something that I'm focused on. This is just something, I have a lot of dreams, and this is just being one of them that I want to accomplish.
A minha vida mudou graças à América. Eu tenho que agradecer a todo o apoio que eu tive aqui dentro dos Estados Unidos. Claro que nos outros países aos quais eu passei, que eu lutei também. Mas eu estou feliz aqui no UFC. Depois que eu encerrar minha carreira, tenho planos de continuar representando o UFC no Brasil e em todos os lugares aos quais o UFC tiver sua presença. E não tenho a intenção de mudar para o boxe. É uma coisa que eu quero fazer porque é um desejo pessoal, mas estou muito feliz aqui dentro do UFC.
Yeah, you know, I love what I do. You know, I love fighting for the UFC. I'm very happy here. I have no intentions of becoming a boxer. And you know, my main goal is just to conquer my dream, just to accomplish my dream. And fighting Roy Jones Jr. has just been a dream of mine for a long time, and I want to accomplish that.
It's a beautiful dream. A couple last words for your fans in Poland.
Algumas palavras para os teus fãs na Polândia.
Bom, eu queria agradecer a todos os meus fãs do mundo inteiro, principalmente da Polândia, e dizer que não importa onde vocês estejam, não importa qual seja o desejo de vocês, o sonho de vocês, corram atrás e façam acontecer.
So it was wrestling. Yeah, I got injured for the Olympics, and then it was kind of like, you know, I felt like athletically I was, you know, at the peak of my career. You know, I felt like I was athletic and had a lot of potential, and I didn't want it to go to waste. If you know, I don't want to just, you know, wake up and I'm 40 and wish I did something that it's too late. So I had to find something that I could, provide for my family doing as far as athletically. And I always kind of felt like I was a fighter at heart, felt like I was meant to do that, and MMA was a way to Zero. Zero.
How much has your life changed since you won the belt?
I guess it's changed a pretty decent amount. I'm able to get out of the house that got hit by Hurricane Sandy, and I'm able to buy a new house in Dix Hill, still on Long Island. But I'm leaving the South Shore, which is hard for me. So it's going to be nice to be organized. We're kind of clustered up in there, cluttered. And so it's going to be nice to have a house where I actually have, room and, space where I can put stuff. So it's going to be nice. Yeah, definitely recognized more. A lot of people coming out of the woodwork, people I don't know, have business ideas for me, a million stuff like that. So that's stuff I got to kind of be able to kind of get through, because I'm usually just a nice guy. Someone comes with me stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, sounds good. They're like, oh, can you do this then? I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in. And next thing I know, I forget about it, and then I'm like obligated to do all these things I forgot about.
After this big fight, is there anyone specifically on your radar that you would love to get into the octagon with?
Only person right now is Anderson Silva. That's all I'm worried about. After that, we'll take it from there. There's a lot of good guys in the division. There's good guys at 205. Whatever the UFC wants to make happen, and what the fans want to see is I'm down for.
What's the mentality going into this fight where you're trying not to lose something, whereas the first time you were trying to gain something?
I don't see me not trying to lose something this time. I still feel like I have to gain. Every fight is just a huge step forward. So it's just a lot to gain in every aspect. Not really. I think Anderson Silva, I knew he was great. I think he still is great. I'm sure he's going to be extra motivated for this next fight, so I'm prepared for that.
You mentioned you were going to get your master's. What did you study?
I did get it, phys ed. I got psychology undergrad at Hofstra, and then I got my my master's in phys ed. I got my associate's degree too, liberal arts, Nassau Community College.
Just speaking to Anderson, I asked about you and the tape, and I asked him if he thinks he has you down, if that's pretty much all there is to see about you, and he kind of smiled and said, yeah.
At first I don't take anything Anderson says in an interview for, the full truth or whatever. He just, says kind of whatever comes to his mind. That doesn't bother me. I have a lot I know I haven't shown in a fight yet. I have a lot of things I do in the gym that I'm still working on to gain the confidence to do in the ring. And for this fight, there could be a lot of new things you see.
If you lose this time, do you feel it kind of undoes the upset? Because a lot of people are looking at it like a fluke, or he was dropping his hands, and so like if you lose here, you feel like that kind of takes away from the upset.
Yeah, I'm not losing here, and I'm not. So that's not even a thought.
Have you seen the tapes?
Oh yeah, I've seen the tapes. I watched like the first 2 weeks after the fight. I watched it a lot. Since then, I haven't really watched too many times, but I watched it.
Seeing anything that you can see in the tapes to make the upset again?
Yes, I mean, I see. Obviously, I found a way to beat him last time. I see a lot of ways I could beat him, but I'm very just critical of myself. I felt like I had a year off last time. I had 2 surgeries back to back, Hurricane Sandy. There was a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes that I just know I'm going to be in a lot better place for this next fight.
Chris, I got to follow up on something you just said. He said upset again. And I want to know, in your mind, when you hear something like that, what goes through it?
It doesn't, there's a lot of opinions out there. Anderson Silva's been in the game so much longer than me. He's accomplished so much more than I have. He's done a lot of great things for the sport and for the UFC. So he deserves that type of respect where people can't believe that he actually lost the first time, and they want to believe that he will lose the second time.
I also know that you went through a lot before the first fight. You had a long way off, you had the injury, and then you had the Hurricane Sandy situation. So you were going through a lot. But now you talk about being able to buy another home, being champion, you obviously make more money. Seeing this side of it, I asked him about where he is now. He talked about being in his family. That's still one of the most important things now as he's gotten older. Winning this fight, and I know guys won't talk about the belt, how important is it to continue to make this kind of money? How motivating a factor is that?
Nah, the money is very motivating. There's a lot of pride that goes into just winning fights, but now the money being an aspect that is absolutely huge. It's a way for me to provide for my family, a way for me to set my family up for the future as well. So there's a lot of motivation with that. I came from a background where I never even thought about money. never expected to have much money in my life. I gave up on the fact that I was going to be rich sometime like college probably. I'm like, yeah, it ain't happening. I don't see any way of it really happening, and that was fine. I just wanted to be able to live a life comfortably at some point, find a way to, be comfortable. So to be in the spot I'm at where I can make real money and be able to set myself up early in my life for the future is definitely a huge motivation factor, and I mean a dream that I never even dreamt come true.
And lastly, we all knew of you, well, in this fight, the first fight, it was the knockout. We saw your hands. What we didn't see, and a lot of people didn't see, or maybe don't really know about you, is your other skills. Are we going to see, have we yet to see the best Chris Weidman?
Yeah, I think so. I think I think for sure you haven't seen the best Chris Weidman. I have a lot of good stuff that I practice and haven't really had the opportunity to really demonstrate in the cage yet for everybody to see. I mean, I'm so young in the sport, it's just a lot of stuff people haven't seen. I'm excited for people to start watching.
Do you have other ways to win this fight? People think that
you
only win by knockout.
Oh yeah. I mean, Anderson Silva is known as the knockout artist. I'm known as the wrestler jiu-jitsu guy. So my wrestling and jiu-jitsu is a big way for me to win this next fight too.
Being in there with him, and he's 38, you're still rising up the sport. He's closer to the end of his career. Do you feel you've seen pretty much all what you know and prepared for Anderson? At least as the new Anderson's coming. Realistically, do you think there's many new wrinkles he can bring to the rematch?
I mean, he's in there every time he fights. He's had so many fights at this point. Every time he's in there, I think he's as creative as you could be. He's very relaxed. I expect unexpected, man. I'm always, every time I've always fought, I'm not really too worried about what they're doing. I'm worried about what I'm doing. So honestly, it doesn't matter. I know people are like, oh, now the angry Anderson Silva, the serious Anderson Silva is going to be coming out. If you think that intimidates me or it makes me feel, or it makes me second guess myself at all, it's just not where my mind's at.
Chris, now, are you studying any other fights he said? Have you watched any other fights that you're studying to get ready for this fight?
Not really. No, I haven't really watched any of his fights. Before this last one, I watched a couple of them, but not really in depth. Just kind of get an idea of what he does, and then train what I do good. My coaches watch a lot of the tape and stuff like that. My coaches study it more than me, and they train me the way they want to train me and tell me what they want me to do, and that's it.
Who have you sparring with, training with, getting ready for this fight?
Who did I spend time sparring with? A lot of different guys. We had some Olympic level boxers, kickboxers. We had my man John Volante's in the UFC. He's always my main training partner. Wonder Boy Thompson we brought in, who has a lot of flashy kicks, more of a karate style, and very creative. We brought him in for that. I think that was it. And we had some good jiu-jitsu guys, some guys that are good at throwing up triangles, some longer guys. We had guys like that too.
Well, there's a couple last words to fans from Poland, everywhere.
Right, you're from Poland? All right. No, I appreciate all the support. This next fight is going to be huge. It could be one of the biggest fights in UFC history. And I'm excited to be able to be in an environment like that to really shine and showcase my skills.
Chris, you mentioned something earlier, and I want to follow up on it. You mentioned that after this fight, you look to defend your title, or even possibly look to 205. And it's not the first time you've mentioned that. A fight at 205 if the promotion wants you to do that. Do you see your future at 205, and if so, how long do you think you stay at 185?
No, 85 is easy. It's not hard for me to make at all. It's just a kind of a normal weight cut that probably the majority of the guys go through. The only reason I say 205 is because people have mentioned it, and I'm the type of guy who just loves the best challenges at the time. I want to fight guys who people don't think I could beat, because I feel like I have a lot to prove still. So that motivates me, and I know there's guys at 205 that people think can't be beat, and I would love to go out there and beat them.
Would that be John Jones?
Yeah, that would probably be the one.
Chris, Ray Longo and
What's that?
you mentioned before about being comfortable, obviously, financial. How comfortable are you now in this role, being in front of the media, being on top of it?
Con imágenes de David Calderón desde la ciudad de Nueva York para bEREAvISION, Uriel Bello.